First thing in the resume is that it is neat. I can see all the important info and it still doesn't feel cluttered. So great that you have provided all important personal info and links on the top. So since we are at it, have you guys ever wondered about accessibility? So at big companies, we always make products which are inclusive. So let's say that there's someone who's visually impaired. Even that person should be able to use the product very easily. So it should be inclusive enough across languages, across locales, across countries, across disabilities. Now imagine if someone who is visually impaired is going through your resume using a screen reader. So these icons would not be read by the reader. Solution is you give alternate text to these images so that the reader can mention that text when it reaches the images, or you don't use these images and just use text. So now this is really extra. You can try it if you have a lot of time, but just wanted to give a glimpse of things you need to consider while making a product. And accessibility is one thing which is highly valued by all the big organizations. And if somehow you can include that accessibility factor in your resume as well, I think that will be a great indicator. Now, I have mentioned it before. I'll just mention it again that please don't write generic or vague sentences in the experience section. Every sentence in this section is really vague or does not provide any information that I would want as an interviewer. I would like to know the problem you were solving, the solution details and your contribution in it, and the impact of your solution. Like what feature? How did you make it responsive? What were the applications and what were the features? Your infra and contribution for deployment. So all these statements that you developed features, you made it responsive, or like you deployed it. So all this is very surface level, or this is not giving me any information at all. So you would have to update this section to provide concrete info about your contribution, learning, skill set and proficiency. The achievement parts, usually interviewers are not impressed by the number of questions solved. It does not guarantee that you actually learn new concepts while solving these new questions or your proficiency in the concepts. So it is better to add some contest related info or maybe about hackathons and stuff. Not saying you should remove it, but this won't really add value as such. Again, coming to the projects part, focus more on your skills, contribution, and learning. Tech stack can be one liner, but not the complete focus. A lot of code will be available on net also. But what were the features you designed and implemented yourself? If everything was developed by you, then mention it. Mention the concepts used. Mention the improvements or enhancements you have made over existing code available on the internet. Jargons and just technology names won't really help. Mention the concepts, not the tech stacks. For the skills, again, the same usual recommendation. Make sure that you will be able to answer the hard questions for the concepts and technology stack that you have mentioned, or integrate the proficiency of each skill. And like if you need space for adding all these things, you can probably leave out your 10th class information. Doesn't really add any value because no one actually takes a decision based on these marks, so you can probably leave it out if you want. So hope you'll find these pointers helpful.